Hey, good morning. Welcome to Horse Retirement Adventures. Today, I'm going to do part 2 on VA benefits, how to claim your VA disabilities, and a little bit more about the PACT Act that just was approved about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe even longer than that. I've been reading on the PACT Act. First of all, I wanted to let you know I am not a VA representative. I'm not a VCO. I'm just a 20-year vet, Air Force, Desert Storm veteran. That I was just recently approved at 100% disability. It took me about 17 years to do that. But what's happening now is that the PACT Act has been approved. Now the PACT Act, I'm not going to go over the whole thing because you can just go to PACT Act VA on your website and go through all the stuff that the PACT Act covers. I just want to hit a few things that for people like me that don't want to read everything. And again, my first video, I had a fantastic audience for that, which was great. Got a lot of questions, a lot of good comments. I think some people actually did what I asked them or did what I suggested. You know, like having your medical records and having all your medical records reviewed. You can actually review them yourself, highlight things that happened to you while you're in the service. If you're in Desert Storm, you definitely want to highlight everything about your Desert Storm experience, if you went to the doctors before, after, and stuff like that. So the PACT Act, again, PACT Act has just been approved a while back. And the key thing about the PACT Act is that it means that it's the presumptive conditions for toxic exposures, that they no longer do you need to approve that your condition was because of that, but you do need to prove that you were in the area. You need to prove that you were in, like for Desert Storm people, there's a list of countries: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, all those areas. You need to have that in your records that you were actually there during that time period. But the toxic exposures like the burn pits, all that stuff, and the chemicals they use to decontaminate the aircraft for us Air Force folks and other people as well. Those are agents that they were used that they used to decon aircraft during the war. But that's a toxic exposure. So the PACT Act, they assume that if you have these conditions and you were in theater, those are assumed or presumed that you might have that condition, and you don't have to prove that. You just have to prove that you were there. So look at that. Look at the PACT Act. And there's a lot of conditions there, like the Gulf War era and post 9/11 veterans eligibility. They have a lot of cancers now that they presumptive, like the brain cancer, head cancer, kidney cancer, all that stuff is, they assumed you got that during your era, your time spent in theater. So you don't have to prove that, like pancreatic cancer, you don't have to prove that it was caused by your service in Desert Storm. They're assuming that that's what caused it. That's a huge step for us. I mean, a huge step. You don't have to go through any doctor stuff and all that stuff. I mean, you're still probably going to have to go. You'll still have to file, and you're still going to have to go through the steps that the VA has for you, like going to go see another doctor, and they're gonna go over your records. But one thing they won't do is say, I need to have you prove that you were seen for that during Desert Storm or after Desert Storm. They're assuming that the toxic chemicals caused that. So that's a good thing. There's also some illnesses like chronic sinuses, emphysema, pleurosis, pulmonary fibrosis, asthma. If you develop asthma now, I'm my age, I'm 62. If I started to develop asthma right now, they would assume that I got that asthma from the burn pits while I was in Saudi Arabia or off the chemicals off the aircraft. I don't have to prove that that's why I have asthma now. So go through the PACT Act, look at all these conditions that they assume that you may have if you went over there. Now, it's not just for Desert Storm, Desert Shield vests. I mean, it's for the, if you went to Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, after September 11th of 2001, if you went to Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, it says the airspace above any of those locations. So if you were in a C-130, you were in a helicopter, and you're flying over these these countries, after September 11, 2001, those locations, that counts. You just need to have it proven in your records that that's what you have. And then on and or after August 2nd, 1990, which would be the Iraq War, Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, Somalia, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all those things, and to include the airspace above those locations. Because a lot of folks, the aircraft or the air crew, they don't land in these countries. They usually fly over and lay some bombs, So they're flying over the airspace. Now, we did have some air bases in Saudi Arabia that flew missions out, but that's not classified. It's open already, so I'm not talking anything classified. But yeah, look at this, look at the PACT Act, and then the Vietnam people, the Vietnam veterans eligibilities for the Agent Orange. They have a new Agent Orange locations for the VA. They just added some of those. You want to look at those as well. I mean, we're going way back to the Vietnam era. I mean, it's really going to be hard for the Vietnam vets to prove that they were in that area. But if you have your DD Form 214, your discharge papers, which everybody should cut and keep, and you can probably go to the VA website to get that. If you still have that DD Form 214, or you need to go get that, it'll list where you're at or where you've been and all that stuff. And you go to the VA website as well and try to get some other records like your medical records and all that stuff. So even the Vietnam era, they have assumed disabilities or assumed cancers, assumed sicknesses that you don't have to prove it was caused in Vietnam. You just have to prove that you were there, which your DD Form 214 ought to do that. And then you can apply. I mean, the PACT Act, if you go to the PACTAct.com or PACT Act on the VA, it'll show you all about toxic exposure screenings. And what's a real good thing about PACT Act that I think everybody needs to understand, and if you already are receiving disability, like I am, 100%, you need to understand if you die, God forbid, I mean, we're all going to die, but if you die of anything that is on your disability, if I die of stomach cancer, if I die, if I have a tumor in my back from all my back issues that I've had, if I die from anything, if I die from brain cancer, now that the PACT Act has been approved, if I die from asthma, whatever, if I die from anything that's listed in my VA disability or in the PACT Act, then my wife can go ahead and apply for my benefits and my pay as a VA disability. The PACT Act has information for first survivors on how to do that. So go over that with your wife, go over that with your spouse, your wife, your husband, and read through that and have that earmarked somewhere on your computer in case something, and God forbid you die while you're married. And your children also, if you die and your children are listed as your beneficiary, and you don't have a spouse, they can apply for stuff as well. So you want to look at that. It's a very, very important change for toxic exposures. Get on the PACT Act. I highly recommend that. Go through your records again, highlight your records. That way you can just apply it right online, copy your stuff, scan it on your computer, and use your records as evidence of any other exposures or anything else that happened to you throughout your 20-year career or your 10-year career, 5-year, 2-year, whatever career it is. So again, just wanted to give everybody just a brief thing on the PACT Act. I'm not a VA representative. I'm just a retired guy that after years and years of trying, I'm finally at the VA disability that was awarded to me at 100%. I mean, I've got a whole list of things, but they all add up. And I think if anybody's been doing the VA claims, you understand that you can get one thing for 50%, get another thing for 60%, but that doesn't add up to 100% disability. They take your 60%, they compute that 50 in there, and if it's 60 and 50, that might go up to 70. So it takes a whole list of ongoing disabilities that you need to claim. Each one, even if it's a 10%, 20%, 30, each one of those adds up and gets added up to make the 100%. I think mine was like 290% that made it up to the 100%. So yeah, that totally confusing. So if you want to read on how they get the 100%, by all means, get on the VA webpage and they'll tell you exactly how that works. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or any comments, just leave them on my YouTube channel. And if I can help you, I will. Again, I'm not a VA rep. I'm just a common guy that has some good experience, and I'm finally at 100%, and I just want to share my success. And I've always learned that it's always good to share or talk to people that actually succeeded than talk to people that haven't succeeded and get their advice. I mean, you might as well talk to somebody that's actually made it to 100%. Instead of talking to lawyers and talking to people that are at 30 and they're trying to give you advice on how to do everything. So yeah, get the right source. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, any comments, please get online or get on my website, or not my website, but my YouTube channel, and let me know, and subscribe to my channel as well. That would be fabulous. All right, Paul out. Good luck with everybody. And if you have any success stories that you want to share on my YouTube channel, that would be fabulous as well. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful day. I know I am here in Georgia, and I love it here. Paul out.